Welcome back to the Marketing Ninja Unleashed. This is Season 3, Episode 3. And in this episode, I'm diving into the 80-20 rule, how letting go of perfection helps you actually get things done. I'll share how learning to think on my feet has made me a stronger planner and decision maker, even as somebody who loves structure. And I'm also talking about why early career marketers need to be careful if they're not reporting into another marketer, because that's when roles can easily blur and expectations can get really messy. It's a really honest, practical episode about progress, confidence, and protecting your value as a marketer. Hi everyone, welcome back to Marketing Ninja Unleashed. I'm Rena, founder of You and Your Story, and it's so good to have you here with me again. We're already a couple of episodes into Season 3, and I've loved sharing my experiences and lessons with you. Last time, you got to meet my husband, Shan, who gave us some brilliant insights into data, product development, and why keeping things simple is always the smartest place to start. Today, though, I want to dive into 3 big themes that keep coming up for me, both in my own journey and in the businesses that I work with. They're things that affect every single business owner and marketer out there, whether you're just starting out or whether you've been in the game for years. So here's what we're talking about. Starting with why chasing perfection is stopping you from finishing, and how the 80-20 rule changed the way I work, why business owners are constantly having to think on their feet, and how that works for me, even though I'm naturally a planner and an analytical thinker. And finally, why junior marketers need to be careful if they're not reporting into another marketer directly, because too often they're being taken advantage of without even realizing it. And at the end, I'll let you know about the next guest on the next episode of my podcast. I can't wait to introduce you to them. So let's get started. Starting with the 80-20 rule. Done is better than perfect. I'll be honest with you, I've always been a bit of a perfectionist. I will always send the extra test send of an email, the last minute tweak of an image, that one stray flyaway hair in a video that I just can't stop noticing. Does that sound familiar to anyone? The problem is, when you're chasing perfection, you never actually finish. You keep tweaking, editing, delaying, and while you're polishing one tiny detail, someone else has already put their content out into the world, made an impact, and moved on. That's why the 80-20 rule has been a game changer for me. The rule comes from an Italian economist called Vilfredo Pareto. Hopefully, I've said his name right. He noticed that in his garden, 80% of the peas came from just 20% of the pods. And then he realized that same pattern shows up everywhere. So in a business, it means that 80% of your results often come from 20% of your efforts. So 20% of your clients bring in 80% of your revenue. 20% of marketing channels deliver 80% of your leads, and 20% of your time creates 80% of your impact. That's why when I'm working on marketing strategies, I always ask myself, what's the 20% that's really moving the needle here? To simplify it, if you're 80% happy with something, it's done. You stop, you send the email, you post the image, you publish the video. Because the truth is, the final 20% is usually just you overthinking. I know, I've done it before. Now, don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean putting out sloppy work. It doesn't mean lowering your standards. What it means is recognizing when something is good enough to do its job. And that's the key. Marketing is about effectiveness, not perfection. When you free yourself from the need to be perfect, you unlock speed, momentum, and progress. And in business, that's where real growth actually happens. So, I've got a challenge for you. The next time that you're stuck tweaking a piece of work for the 10th time, ask yourself, is this 80% there? Be honest, and if it is, let it go. Hit publish, move on. Because perfect doesn't build businesses, progress does.
LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into your field's latest industry trends and insights. We can't stop your colleague from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your colleagues from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
Now, let's talk about life as a business owner, specifically planning. I'll be honest, I'm a planner. I like structure, I like lists, I like analysing all the possible outcomes before making a decision. That's just how my brain works. But when you run a business, you don't always have the luxury of time. Things change, clients call, markets shift, campaigns flop, and sometimes you have to make a decision on the spot. That's been a huge learning curve for me. Because as much as I love planning, I've realised that running a business is just as much about adaptability as it is about analysis. I've learned that you can have the best plan in the world, but if you can't pivot when things go off script, you'll struggle. And you know what? I actually learned to love it. Because being forced to think on my feet has actually made me more confident. It's shown me that I don't need every detail mapped out to make a good decision. So if you're listening to this and you're a fellow planner, here's my encouragement to you. Keep your analytical side, it's a strength, but also build the muscle of adaptability. Trust yourself to make the call, even when you don't have all the information that you'd like. Because in business, speed matters, and sometimes the best decision you can make is just making a decision. Now, I want to move on to something that I'm really passionate about, because it's happened to me in the past. Marketers at the beginning of their careers are often asked to do everything. Social media, design, content, events, email, analytics, you name it. And the problem is that they're not usually reporting into another marketer, which means they don't have anyone to guide them, support them, or even check if what they're being asked to do makes sense. And I hate to say it, but it makes them really easy to take advantage of. They're expected to be a one-person marketing department, spinning plates, trying to do things they've never been taught. And it's incredibly overwhelming. So if you're in that position, here's a bit of advice. First of all, set boundaries. If something isn't in your skill set, be honest about it. Secondly, keep learning, find mentors, join communities, listen to podcasts like this one. The more you know, the more confident you'll be when you're pushing back. And third, remember, you don't have to do everything. Marketing is a team sport. If your company wants results, they need to invest in the right support, not just pile everything on your shoulders. And if you're a business owner listening to this, please don't expect your marketing assistant to do everything under the sun. Support them, invest in them, and give them someone senior to learn from. Because when you nurture junior marketers, they don't just perform better, they stay longer, they grow with you, and they become the kind of talent that takes your business forward. So, to wrap up today's episode, here are the key takeaways. Done is better than perfect, so embrace the 80-20 rule and keep things moving. Business is about adaptability as much as it's about planning. And sometimes you just have to make the call. And if you feel like you're being taken advantage of, protect yourself, keep learning, and don't be afraid to set boundaries. You'll be respected for it in the long run. And if you're a business owner, remember, your marketers are people, not machines. Support them and they'll support you. In the next episode, we're diving even deeper into the mindset of a business owner with somebody who knows all about helping people grow, Ed Cooper, business coach and director at Action Coach. We'll be talking about leadership, mindset, and what it really takes to build a business that works for you, not just one that keeps you busy. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening and join me next time on Marketing Ninja Unleashed. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Rena. This is You and Your Story. And remember, your story is the one the world won't forget.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.